I want to talk a little bit about what we refer to in the industry as NEAT. Now, NEAT is an acronym for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And this basically describes, without the scientific kind of vocab, this basically describes the amount of energy that we expend throughout the day through more kind of less focused exercise, just movement like walking the dog, doing some gardening, movement around the house. It literally involves any calories that we might expend through movement that isn't our focused exercise. That would be accounted for under a different thing, N.E.A.T, which is exercise activity thermogenesis. So we're going to stick with NEAT today because NEAT is one of the best fat loss tools you can implement and you can use to help speed up your results with dropping weight. Why? Because ultimately, if we can get active over long periods and increase our overall hourly burn for the whole day, where we're out of bed for, let's say, 16 to 18 hours a day, if we can increase the hourly burn for prolonged periods, then you're going to get a hell of a lot more benefit than just getting maybe an extreme burn over 1 hour that you do in the gym. So of course the training is going to play a big part in energy expenditure, but NEAT and your like prolonged periods of low intensity expenditure is actually going to give you a better result. More, it's going to impact your fat loss a lot more than a single exercise session. So your exercise sessions themselves, this is another point, but the exercise sessions themselves should never be focused towards fat loss. They should always be focused towards like performance, muscle building. They shouldn't be geared towards fat loss. Exercise should never be focused around fat loss because ultimately, it sounds strange, it's not really that great for fat loss, because if you're not got your food on point, if you're not moving a lot through the day, then it's going to be challenging. You're never going to be able to elicit fat loss if all your focus is on 1 hour of training per day. It's just not going to happen. So we want to talk about NEAT and the importance of NEAT. So the way I look at it, so anything beyond non-moving is going to burn more calories than non-moving, if you get what I mean. So if I'm laid down now in bed, I'm going to require a certain amount of calories just to keep all my organs functioning and just to keep alive. I'm going to require a certain amount of calories. And this is called your basal metabolic rate. If you look this up online, basal metabolic rate basically describes the amount of calories your body will require just to keep functioning and stay alive, yeah? Then, obviously, anything beyond that non-moving state, the state of being asleep or sitting down, anything beyond that is going to require more calories, because we require calories to do any movement. We require calories to do this with no weight. Obviously, if I add 5 kilos onto that movement, it requires more calories, more energy. If I had 20 kilos, it's more. So you've got to think about that through the space of a day. So we're looking at like daily movement. Of course, cleaning the kitchen is going to require a higher expenditure than sat there on a computer. You're going to burn a few extra calories doing that, but then you're going to take the intensity of that chore, that task, a little bit beyond that. Maybe you do some gardening where you're digging in the garden. Again, the expenditure is higher. Maybe you go for a fast-paced walk with the dog, the expenditure then goes higher again. So what we want to kind of do in a fat loss phase is push these NEAT levels up as high as we possibly can. So we've got to try and bring daily activity into the forefront of our attention at all times. Maybe we park further away. You've probably heard this before. Maybe you park further away. Don't get the escalator, take the stairs every time. Maybe you decide that you're going to do more active tasks around the house. This is a thing I use when I need to get cut body fat, is I will actively start including more kind of active tasks. So I'll start making changes around the house. I'll do stuff in the garden a little bit more. I'll help people with stuff. It sounds stupid, but helping people with lifting stuff more. I will actively want to do that hell of a lot more because I'm trying to push my expenditure up. So every time I know that I'm sat down or non-moving, I know that my body is going to be burning the bare minimum amount of calories. And that's not what we want in a fat loss stage, because obviously the more calories we're expending, the more food we get to eat. And obviously everyone wants to eat more food. So we've got to make sure we're moving as much as possible. Now, you can do this by just including a walk through the day. Obviously, you can take your exercise into account with your expenditure as well, and you obviously should. But like I said at the start, one of the greatest tools is your N.E.A.T levels. How can we expend more calories over a prolonged period of time? How can we get on our feet more? How can we be more active with our daily tasks, spend less time watching TV and more time out and about with the dog, walking, maybe, like I say, doing stuff around the house. This is one of the best things you can do to speed up your fat loss results. So from here, this is what you should think about. How can you, starting from today, start implementing some more activity into your day-to-day life? If you want to get some degree of fat loss, and for health benefits go way beyond this as well. So just being more active, like I say, over the full day, rather than just a one intense bout, which is obviously very important for the exercise and it gives you other benefits. We want to work out how we can do that through the whole day. So your task from here is to really analyze your day-to-day activities and look at where you can start to include more N.E.A.T, more calorie expenditure that is spread over the full day in maybe less intensive bouts.